It's September's Off the Rail, the first of our new monthly episodes. We're here at Alexandra Palace in London. Ted Lerner, of course, is with us, and this is what's coming up. We hear from some of the players selected for Team USA's summer boot camps, and Ted analyses the challenge ahead for America at this year's Party Poker Mosconi Cup. We revisit Niels Feijen's emotional Whirlpool Masters win in Gibraltar, and BCA Hall of Fame promoter Barry Hearn tells us about Matchroom's acquisition of the US Open. All that's still to come, but first let's turn our attention to the Party Poker Mosconi Cup. It's been a difficult, decade or so now, Ted, for Team USA. They got a new coach last year in Johan Roysink, who brought a new approach to Team USA. The result in the end in Las Vegas was still, unfortunately for them, the same. But Johan now this year has taken them to training camps from January. He's had a group of players working together all year long with the goal of coming to London, winning the Mosconi Cup. It's a different approach. Do you think it's the right approach?
Well, it's very easy to be cynical, isn't it, if you're a fan of Team USA. It's just been one negative after the next and just constant losing, and they can't seem to do anything right. I mean, last year in Vegas, Nick, some of the outcomes of those matches were shocking. To see Shane Van Boening missing shots, 8-ball, I remember, and then there was several of them in key situations, and you would expect a guy like Shane to do that. Now, having said that, yes, there's a lot of negatives, but the thing is that there's a lot of positives, and I think American fans should never underestimate Johan Roysink. This man is a pool genius. He really is. He knows his way around a pool table, but he knows, more importantly, around the pool mind. This is where Johan is really, really good. And these things, you know, the seeds that he plants can take time to grow and germinate. It doesn't happen overnight. So I like the approach. I think there has to be a process. There has to be something that you can, you know, hang your hat on, some meat on the bone for people to sort of get involved in the process, to learn from the process. Now the question is, will Team America take it to heart? Will they be involved in this process? Do they want to learn from what he's trying to teach them? And a lot of people are saying no, they're not interested in that. Last year in Vegas, it appeared they weren't interested in learning from his process. But I think that they can. I think there's a real possibility, and I think one of the reasons is that we're here in Alexandra Palace this year. And a lot of people are going, no, they have no chance here. They're going to be thousands of people and rooting against them, and it's open bar all night, and they're just going to be overwhelmed with it all. But I don't think so. I think they do have a chance. Are they odds-on favorites? Not even close. They're serious underdogs. But Johan's going to try to teach them how to use that underdog status to work as a positive for them.
And actually, you spoke about those basic mistakes that Team USA were making in Las Vegas. If they were to just cut those out, and we know they can, they are top players, if they cut out those basic mistakes, actually, they're a lot closer to Europe than things appear at the moment.
Absolutely. Look, it's a race to 5. And I think last year in Vegas that they were overwhelmed with the pressure. And part of that is, we see this often in sport, that sometimes, we call it a home field advantage in America, but sometimes it's not a home field advantage because you feel the pressure of everybody that expects you to win. Your compatriots all have this pressure piled upon their favorite player's shoulders. And this is clearly what happened last year. And also, there was a ton of distractions in Vegas for Team America. Let's face it, those matches were taking place in the afternoon. They're done at about 4 o'clock or whatever it was, and then, it's out, and next thing you know, they're out to the bar, and the casinos are right there, and everybody wants to party with the American players. Come on, I'll take you out, and let's go here, there, and everywhere. And they just weren't in that mindset. Now, when they come here to London, the matches are in the evening. They're going to be staying at the hotel. There's not really much to do in the way of just wild partying here during the event. It's all business. That's what they've got to do. The Americans have to be all business. Forget about all the showboating and going crazy on every shot. Stick to business. This is where they're going to pick up these nuggets from. This will all sink in. Johan's teachings will sink in when they take this approach, a workmanlike approach to winning this event.
And we know Johan started in July his road to Alexandra Palace, if you like, with 16 players. He's narrowed that down now. We'll get the final 5 in October. But with Dennis Hatcher having already stepped aside, it's looking like, actually, apart from Dennis, a really similar team will come over here to London as compared to the one that played in Las Vegas. Could that consistency, that continuity be a positive factor for USA?
It absolutely cannot hurt. It's going to be a great thing. The question is, who's going to be the 5th player, and will that guy be able to handle this pressure? Let's make no mistake about it. The pressure is going to be immense. You have 2,500 fans here. It's going to be evening matches, people getting off work, coming over here. They're going to be well-oiled, and they are going to the atmosphere is going to be insanity. So how do you deal with that insanity? I say you embrace it. You can't worry about the fans are booing you or saying bad things about you. Actually, the fans here in London, I know the people here, you have to engage with them. You saw like Rodney Morris when he was here, and he engages the crowd. They like you for that. Yeah, they may ride you. Of course they're going to ride you. They're rooting for Team Europe. But if you engage with them, if you rib them back and you shake your fist out, or even shake their hand and whatever, just crack a few jokes, make it light out there. Have fun. The crowd will love you for it. That's what I always say about the Americans. They have to have fun. Stop be workmanlike, but enjoy it at the same time. I will say this, though, with one thing. We always talk about how Team Europe, the European players, are more professional than the Americans. And what I mean by that is that, not that the Americans aren't pros, but on their day-to-day pool lives, they don't approach the sport in the same way. The Europeans treat it as a sport. It's not easy to be a pool player, but in their day-to-day lives, the Europeans are sportsmen. That's how they look at pool. Americans aren't always that way. Who are the real sportsmen in the American team? Shane Van Boening. Look at him, travels all over the world, plays in all the big events, takes his lumps in places like China and here in the UK and everywhere, in Qatar. He takes his lumps, and he's the better for it. I like the fact that Billy Thorpe, who's surely going to be on the team, he's in China right now at the China Open. This is a good step. This is good for Team America. Go to China. Get out of your comfort zone. Try the food, the different time zones. This is what's going to make you battle hardened. So when the chips are down, when the pressure's on, you can then call upon those experiences, and then you'll make those shots.
We'll find out who will make Team USA after the International Open in October. Some of the players who haven't carried on, though, with Johan's training plan, they spoke to us in Las Vegas and told us they were richer for the experience nonetheless.
Well, we started off in Des Moines with a 14-player camp, and it was basically an introduction of all the drills and everything that he expects, and the whole all-around deal about what's going on with improving the American players. And it went really well, the first one, and I was in between tips on my cue, so I was kind of struggling in the beginning, but I feel like I showed up, and then we all get here, and then we just did pretty much the same thing, but it was a lot more intense this time, and everything was assessed and scored, and but seeing his vision and everything that's going on with the advancement of the style and the competitor aspect of it for going into the Mosconi Cup with all that pressure is crazy, but Johan is going to advance us for sure. I feel really good about it, and the boot camps and everything that happened.
Yeah, you seem to have really bought into the idea and have enjoyed what you've been doing with Johan.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's incredible to work with, but like you said today, everybody's going to be able to take something from this, and I've already seen massive improvement in how I'm hitting the ball.
Well, I've always watched it as a kid, but never thought that I would ever be considered. I didn't think I'd make it that far to, have a chance to play on the team. So it's all been a surprise to me. It's been, I'm not really sure what to expect. So it's been, it's been kind of nervous, and the drills are really hard, and so it's been very humbling, doing the drills.
I am very fortunate to be in this situation, and I'm learning a lot from the camps. Johan's a really good coach, and Jeremy Jones is also. I've always thought that he should be playing in it, but you know, he decided to coach, and he's a great coach. I used to fold under pressure, and there would be certain places where I just wouldn't be good enough, and now I'm just almost there. So I'm glad that Johan is working with us, and he's given us a lot of drills to help work on our game, and that's made a world of difference for me.
It means a lot. Definitely means a lot. It's something that everyone that growing up playing pool, you know, that's like one of their goals is to get on the cup for the USA team and represent your country. It's an honor, and I feel pretty fortunate and lucky to have this opportunity, and just trying to take advantage of it and do my best. It takes a lot of time, discipline, and work ethics to even to be thought of to be part of the team. You know what I mean, or an opportunity to tryouts, as we can say, you know what I mean.
So how have you found the training camp? So you finding benefit from them?
I like it, yeah. I like it. I think it teaches you discipline. I think it brings structure, and I think pool needs more structure. It's just you definitely learn from it, and it shows you how to bear down every shot. You know, I believe if you keep working on those drills that they show you, it's definitely going to be a major improvement to my game or whoever works at it.
Some of the American players there who started the summer with Johan Royce, and I'm sure we'll see them make their Mosconi Cup debuts in the future. Some real bright young talents there for America. But whoever makes a team will have a real tough test. They'll be taking on Team Europe again here in December. And one player for Team Europe who will be desperate to be back on the team is Niels Feijen. He's a multi-time MVP, Ted, at the Mosconi Cup. He missed last year's tournament because he had a bout of tennis elbow. It was actually quite severe and almost kept him out of the World Pool Masters. In fact, he almost withdrew from the World Pool Masters just before it began in Gibraltar earlier this year. But in the end, he turned up unsure of his own form, his own fitness, but played some of the best pool of his career. And what a win that was for Niels Feijen.
I think it was one of the top stories of the year in pool. Niels Feijen, the story as he tells it, was literally had his cell phone, his mobile in his hand, was about to text the Matchroom offices about 2 weeks before the Masters saying, I can't do it. I'm not cleared to play. I don't think I can do it. So he was just about to pull out. Then his doctor cleared him to play. He was just getting better. He still had a little bit of pain, and then he decided to go ahead and do it. And this was all the result of even a couple months before that, going back a little bit, he had a new training regimen to try to heal that elbow. The first thing that he was trying was not working, so he went to see another doctor. He got a little bit of positive news out of that. It started to heal a little bit, but again, he still had some pain, and the doctor said, keep doing it. It's going to get better, so he didn't send the text message to the office. You guys never received it, right?
There was no text.
No text. So that's how close he was to pulling out. He comes to Gibraltar, and you could see it. I remember because I did the commentary on the very first match. He looked really good. He had zero expectations. And this is often the funny thing in sport, how when you come in with so many high expectations, then you don't perform. But when you come in with no expectations, you play loose, you play light, you freewheel it. Niels just came out in that first match and freewheeled it, and he looked scary. Scary good. So, and he played that way the entire way through. And then I think as he realized that the pain wasn't going to come back, not only was he playing loose and freewheeling, the confidence started to build. And by that last match, he was in the zone. And you've got to feel good for Niels because he's one of pool's good guys.
And it clearly meant a lot to Niels. At the end of the tournament, he gave a really emotional interview to Laura Woods of Sky Sports, and we can see that now.
It's amazing.
Ooh. I'll give you a minute because I know this is emotional for you because of what you've been through in the last 6 months. You've come back from an injury that I imagine must have put doubt over your playing career, but you've come back so strong and managed to make it through this incredible competition and come out the victor.
Yeah, I'm pretty speechless. I mean, it's been a long ride, and I want to thank everybody that supported me. I'm having a tough time. Especially my wife, back home. Kat, I love you. And it's a great moment. Thank you.
Niels, you've got fans worldwide, and a lot of them are in this room now. And one thing that is so synonymous with all of your performances is how resilient you are and how hard you work and how tough you fight back from any situation, which is what you've done in this entire competition. You've also been so dominant as well, and when you haven't, you've shown that resilience that people love you for. What keeps you so focused?
Just the competition, I guess. You know, the opponents. I mean, I played Dennis. He beat me like 8 to 10 times in a row, so you know I had to step it up in that one. And then Carl's a great guy, and you know, we've had some good battles in the past. So that was a great match to play him, and the break started clicking really well from that side, and you know, my timing was really well. So then I figured, okay, if I keep breaking like this, I can win the whole thing. And then of course Shane's he's in his own league sometimes, so that gives you an extra spark, you know, and he's a 2-time winner. So I thought, you know, I got a real chance here. You know, I've been away so long, so if I can snap this thing off, you know, it means a lot to me. So.
Yeah. And just another word on Shane Van Bonen, because you've had many a battle with him over the years. When you knew you were coming against him in the final, what did you think?
Well, like I said, he's won this thing 2 times in a row, and then he got to the semi, so that means he won 10 matches in a row, which is like the best record ever. We've played many times, you know, US Opens, Whirlpool Masters, you name it. So this was just a special night, special tournament, and I want to thank the fans for sticking around. You know, this was great. Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. Thanks for the support. Thanks to Matchroom for holding the event, all the sponsors, and I'm going to really enjoy this one. This cup's going full. So.
Niels Feijen at the end of a very emotional second Whirlpool Masters success for him. He's one of the greats of the modern game, Ted, but one title that's eluded him so far is the US Open 9-ball, one of the biggest, most prestigious and longest running tournaments in pool. But all change next year with the news that Matchroom Multisport will be taking on the US Open, adding of course to the Mosconi Cup, the World Cup of Pool and the Whirlpool Masters. Real big news for pool, that.
Absolutely massive for pool. You know, whenever you say US Open, whether it be tennis, golf, people stand up and take notice. This is, you know, always one of the big events in pool. The problem with the US Open over the years, yes, it was a great event, but it was, you know, one man's, one family's sort of boutique event in essence, and it never really had reached that level that a US Open should be at. And that's not to take anything away from Barry Berman, but that was just the way he ran the event. And it developed an amazing history, and they've had the greatest players in the world have won that event, and it's gone on their CVs and makes their career when you win it. But now, in the hands of Matchroom, Barry Hearn, I mean, this is absolutely massive. First of all, not only in the organizational side of it and the way it's going to look on television, what about the reach of this event? Matchroom events are seen literally all over the world. So now you say US Open, you see these incredible production standards that Matchroom always brings to an event, and it only seems to be getting better and better. Then you have, what are you talking about, maybe hundreds of broadcasters all over the world. This is hundreds of millions of people potentially viewing this event. So what a platform to build a US Open in pool from. This is the most exciting news in pool in many years.
And when he delivered the news, Hall of Fame promoter, and he's a Hall of Fame pool promoter for a reason, Barry Hearn, he delivered an exciting vision for the future of the tournament. This is what he said.
Now, it's going to come as no surprise to pool fans around the world, this acquisition, because I think most people know our enthusiasm here for the sport of 9-ball pool and where we feel the sport should be. You know, we've seen the Whirlpool Masters, the World Cup of Pool, and of course the great Mosconi Cup climb year on year in awareness around the world. And this is exactly the type of job we intend to do with the US Open. We're going to change venues. We're going to go to Las Vegas. Guys, ladies, it's party time in Vegas. We're going to show you a show the likes of which you've never seen. The fan experience is going to be altogether different. And there's going to be players coming from all over the world, because this will be televised in over 100 countries worldwide, including the United States of America. At last, pool is getting the recognition it deserves. And as a first step, and it is just the first step, we're going to guarantee $300,000 of prize money, irrespective of entries. We're going to make this event massive. You'll never see anything like it in your life. So to the fans and to the players, it's down to you now. We want the best players in the world to compete for the biggest pool event in the world. We want the fans to come out in their numbers to show the world that we can create the atmosphere that we've seen with the Mosconi Cup and other Matchroom sport events. You know what we are. As a Billiard Congress Hall of Famer, I can tell you we love this sport, and we've got the best team of pool promoters the world has ever seen behind it. So now, forgive my enthusiasm and my excitement. This is a massive day for the world of 9-ball pool. The US Open comes under our control, and we will shock the world with how big this event's going to be.
Matchroom Sports' Barry Hearn there telling us about the new US Open, which is coming to Mandalay Bay next April. Matchroompool.com for all the ticket details, not just for that, but also for the Mosconi Cup and news of the all-new look World Pool Masters on there as well. Ted, thank you for joining us. You'll be back with us next month for another Off the Rail.
Off the rail. Off the rail, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned. We'll be back next month across Matchroom Pool's social media pages.